Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is day 3 of chapter 3, and today what we're going to do is we're basically going to start graphing lines. We've learned a little bit about coordinates, about points. We learned about domain and range. We learned functions, whether something's a function or not. Okay, but now we're actually going to graph some lines. And so first of all, let's talk about today's topic. Actually, is x and y intercepts. That's part of one topic, so let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about what an x-intercept is first. Okay, think about when I use the word intercept, that means it crosses. Okay, so if I draw my xy axis, remember this is x and this is y. If it crosses it like this point right here, math fans, is called an x-intercept, because it's crossing the x-axis. Okay, this is called the y-intercept because it's crossing the y-axis. So let's take a look at what let's look at the kind of what the coordinate is of this. Okay, this coordinate is 3, 0. All right, and what about this coordinate down here, the y-intercept? Well, we're going to call that 0, -2. Now, what do you notice is common with both of these? Well, here's the deal. What's common is that 0 and that 0. Okay, so here's the deal is when you have an x-intercept, no matter where I plot it, let's just plot, if I plot another point here, let me put a couple more tick marks here. Another tick mark. Okay. So if I cross here, what coordinate is that? This is -1, 0. If I cross here, that's -1, 2, 3. It's -4, 0. If I cross here, it's 1, 0. Okay, so if you notice what's going on here is my y value is always 0. All right? So the deal is when you want to find the x-intercept, and this is super ultra important, okay, the y, basically what you're going to do is you're going to set y equal to 0. That's the deal. Okay, when you find the x-intercept. Sometimes people throw that off and they're like, oh, you set the x to 0 because you're crossing the x-axis. No, because the x, it'll cross at -4, -1, at 1, at 3. In other words, the x value can be anything. It's going to cross the x-axis someplace at when x is whatever number, but the y has to be 0. Look at every one of these points, the y value is 0. So this is super important. Super important is when you find the x-intercept, you set y equal to 0. Now, same thing with the y-intercept. Let's check a couple points out here. So let me make a few more tick marks here. A couple more tick marks. Okay. If I look at like this point right here, isn't that 0, 1? And if I make another tick, let's make a tick mark down here. Let's make a couple more here. We'll go to this point right here. So isn't this point down here -1, -2, -3, -4, 0, -5? So same idea. What do you notice, math fans? You guys should notice that the x value is always 0. Okay? So the x value is 0. So what you're going to do is you're going to set x equal to 0 when you're finding the y-intercept. That is basically today's lesson, is how to find the x and y-intercept. So you literally set x to 0 when you're finding the y-intercept, and you set y to 0 when you're finding the x-intercept. Okay? Because remember, I can cross the y-axis any place on here, any place where y is 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, I can cross it anywhere, but x is always 0. I mean, you can see it. Look at here, 0, 1, 0, -5, 0, -2. X is always 0. Okay? So this is super important. So let's gonna highlight this baby right here. Right? And you're gonna set x equal to 0. Okay? So very, very important. Set x to 0 when you want to find the y-intercept. Set y to 0 when you want to find the x-intercept. And then what you're going to do is you're going to plot those 2 points. So let's just start out with an equation here and just kind of show what I'm doing. Okay. So if I give you a problem like 2x minus 3y is equal to 6. And I ask you to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. I'm going to abbreviate that, Xint and Yint. Okay, so what you're going to do is, remember, to find the x-intercept, you're going to set y equal to 0. Got to remember that. So let's do that. Okay, that's going to be 2x. There's nothing here for x. You're just setting y to 0. So it's minus 3 times 0 equals 6. Now the beauty of setting something equal to 0 is it just cancels out. That's gone. So really you get 2x equals 6. And then you guys should know how to solve. Divide by 2, x is 3. So my coordinate, you have to give me coordinates, right? You told me y was 0, and now you're saying x is 3. So make that a coordinate. It's 3, 0. That is my x-intercept. Okay? And then to find the y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0. All right, so you're going to say 2 times 0, because x is 0, minus 3y equals 6. So again, the beauty of setting something to 0 is that's out of here. I went up with just negative 3y. Don't forget that negative. Negative 3y equals 6, and then I solve for y, so I divide by negative 3, and so y comes out to be negative 2. So remember, that's a coordinate. Please don't tell me the y-intercept is negative 2. I don't know what negative 2 is. Negative 2 is a nice friendly number. I need a coordinate. So the y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 2. Because remember, my x was 0 and my y is negative 2. So you put those together and get a coordinate. Okay? So you got two coordinates here. Let me highlight these. This coordinate here and this coordinate here. So we have two coordinates, and what we're going to do with those is now we're going to plot them. Okay? So let me do a couple of tick marks here. Okay, so now we're going to plot 3, 0. So 1, 2, 3, and again, make sure you plot things correctly. And then 0, negative 2. So remember, that's 0 in the x direction, so y is negative 2. So we go down to negative 2 here. So those are your two coordinates. It's your x-intercept and your y-intercept. And then we draw a line between them. Okay, please, sometimes what people do is they just go between the 2 points and they don't put any arrows. So in other words, I don't want this, guys. I don't want you to graph a point here, and then do this. That's bad. Okay, I want to see it extended past it. It's a line. Those 2 points just help you with the line, guide you to draw the line correctly, and extend it and then put arrows on there. And if you miss, see how I missed the point a little bit? You know, that's not good. So what do? I'm going to make you, if you miss a point, this is what I'm going to have you guys do. Make the point a little bit bigger. What? Okay, that's it. Okay, so just make it a little bit bigger. Obviously, I don't want normal points. I don't want points like this big. Okay, just be somewhat neat about it. All right. And anyway, that's your graph. That's what you do. Okay. Let's try another one here now. We kind of talked a lot. So let me give you another problem. If I give you 3x plus y equals 9. Okay, so x-intercept and y-intercept. So remember, x-intercept, you set y equal to 0. So 3x plus 0 equals 9. So 3x equals 9, divide by 3, x is 3. So the coordinate is 3, 0, because we knew we set it 0, y is 0, and x is 3. So 3 zeros for our first point. And to find the y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0. So let's do that. 3 times 0 plus y equals 9. That's out here, so I don't have to do anything. Y equals 9. Well, that's pretty nice. So y is 9, x is 0, so my coordinate is 0, 9. Okay? So you go ahead and graph this. Make a little more room on top because you got to go to 9. So 0 or 3 zeros here. And 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is here. Okay, and so try to draw it somewhat straight, like that. And there's your line. Okay, that's really not bad. Let's try one more. It's like just a little bit kind of crazier equation. Okay, and then we're going to do a special equation just for all you math fans out there. Okay, what if I gave you something that looked like this? 4 is equal to 2x minus 2y. Okay, it just looks a little uglier. Whatever you need to do, move stuff around. I mean, I don't care how you even start the problem out. If you want to do this, 2x minus 2y equals 4, or if you want to just start plugging into it, that's okay. I personally like to move my variables to the left side to start it out. I didn't change the problem at all. I literally rewrote this. Okay, so I want to find my x-intercept. So remember, set y to 0. So 2x minus 2 times 0 equals 4. So that's out of there. So I just get 2x equals 4. Divide by 2, x equals 2. So the coordinate is 2, 0. Okay, and then to find my y-intercept, I set x equal to 0. So 2 times 0 minus 2y equals 4. So that cancels out. Negative 2y equals 4. Divided by negative 2, y equals negative 2. So your coordinate is 0, negative 2. All right, so go ahead and graph it. So 2, 0 is here, and 0, negative 2 is here, and we graph the line. Okay? So that's pretty easy, right? Pretty simple stuff, graphing. Now, there are 2 special cases here. Okay, so let's talk about those. These are, I'll call these special cases. So the special cases are basically x equals 3. Okay, so there's no y. So you see no y here. No y. It's just x equals 3. So what, if you think logically, and I'm going to give you like a shortcut after actually I show you how to do both of these. If I would graph this, if there's no y here, in other words, x is always 3. So think about it. If x is always 3, so it could be 3, 0, 3, 2, 3, negative 1. So x is always 3, but y can be anything because there's no y there. So y can be any value. So let's, if I plot a couple points here, 3, 0 is here, 3, 2, so we put a couple more tick marks here. Okay, so 3, 2 is here, 3, negative 1 is here. So if I kind of graph some of these, or graph a couple points, and then I draw a line, that's it. That's what that line is. So what you need to remember is an x equals problem, okay? So here, let me highlight this. If it's just like this with no y, it's always a vertical line, which means it's up and down. Okay, that's what vertical means, up and down. Okay, if it's an x equals, you got to remember that because it can be tricky. Because if I said, what's the x-intercept and what's the y-intercept? In fact, can you tell me where is it crossing the x-axis? You should say, oh, Mr. Kerfus, it's crossing the x-axis right here. So what's the x-intercept? You're going to tell me my x-intercept is 3, 0. It's crossing right there. Where's it crossing the y-axis? So where's the y-intercept? Here's the y-axis. Where's it crossing it? Well, it's not. It's up and down over to the right of it. It's never crossing the y-axis, so you need to write none there. Not 0. Don't write 0. 0 is right here. Okay, and it's not there. It's none. There is no y-intercept. Okay? Okay, let's do the other special case. Y equals, let's just say y equals 3. So it's the same idea. You can be any x value. But y is always 3. So it can be 0, 3, it could be 2, 3, it could be negative 1, 3. It's always y is equal to 3. So if I graph this, let me put a couple of tick marks again here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I plot this 0, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3 is here. Negative 1, 3. So what's going on here? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so it's a horizontal line. Okay, so that's a special case. If it's y equals, it's a horizontal line. Horizontal line. Remember the horizon, left and right. Okay, so again, my question to you is, where is it crossing the y-axis? What is the y-intercept? And you should say, oh, that's the y-intercept right there. So the y-intercept is 0, 3. It's crossing at 0, 3. Where's the x-intercept? Where is it crossing the x-axis? Well, it's not. So x-intercept is none. Okay? So here's the deal. Let me kind of summarize this a little bit, okay? So if you have an x equals problem, basically what you're going to have is a vertical line, which means, again, up and down. And you're going to have one x-intercept, and you're going to have no y-intercept. There's one special case for that. But in general, one x-intercept and no y. Here, just really quickly, if I graph it. Here's the graph. Okay, one x-intercept, and it's not crossing that y-axis, so it's no y-intercept. Okay, only an x-intercept. So that's, again, this one would be x equals negative 2 for that problem. Okay, what about y equals, if it's a y equals problem, that is a horizontal line. Okay, which means left and right. Okay, and this will have one y-intercept and no x-intercept. All right, so again, an example is here. Okay, in other words, where's my y-intercept? Well, right there. My y-intercept is actually at 0, 2. And where's it crossing the x-axis? None, because here's the x-axis right here, and it's not crossing it. So it has one y-intercept and has no x-intercept. Okay, so in this case, y is equal to 2. Okay, those are special cases. You have to know how to graph those. It's easy to do, like these are easy. If I just said, 2x minus 4y equals 8. That's pretty easy. Again, you set an x equals 0, set an y equals 0. You're getting, an x and y intercept, and then you're drawing your line. Because you just need 2 points to draw a line. That's all you need. That's why I'm asking you just to graph an x and y intercept. Okay? So that's relatively easy. Again, these are a little trickier. If it's just a y equals 5 or an x equals 3, think about it. This is a horizontal line at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and what's the y-intercept? 0, 5. What's the x-intercept? None. X equals 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a vertical line. What's the x-intercept? 3, 0. What's the y-intercept? None. Okay, so know how to graph those. You should be able to graph this guy, and this guy to be successful for this unit. Okay, and know the x and y intercepts. It's quick when you sketch, especially these guys here. If you just sketch them, that kind of got dark. Okay, but if you're sketching those, let's get rid of that so you can see actually a little bit. There we go. Oh, okay. If you're sketching those, you want to draw your horizontal vertical line. It helps you with y-intercept. Okay. But otherwise, these guys, you definitely want to sketch you can use your X and Y intercept to sketch these guys. Okay? Anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell, guys. X and Y intercepts and how to graph those points then, and then X equals and Y equals problems. Those are today's topics, and hopefully you guys are good to go. All right. That's it, math fans. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.